Hello, welcome back to a very busy whole house cleanup and declutter with me. I'm putting together my girls' last day of school presents, setting up our new robot vacuum to help simplify my cleaning routine throughout summer break, and decluttering a ton in both of my girls' bedrooms today. Their dressers and closets were just screaming my name, and it's actually perfect timing because we're preparing for a community yard sale, so I figured I could go through and just purge all of those unnecessary, unwanted items that have accumulated over the last year and simplify our routines and minimize our space as we go into summer break when we're all home every single day. Because this is the current state of our house. We have things piled in every corner, little doom piles I call them, in our entryway, in our living room, our bedrooms, and all of those nooks and crannies. And it just feels very messy and overwhelming to be in our house right now. And that is not the vibe that I like for my family. I want a space that feels welcoming and inviting and casual and comfortable. And so whenever things get this out of control, I know that I need to spend an entire day just cleaning up and kind of pushing that reset button and decluttering anything that is no longer serving us in this current season of life. And if you are new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Megan, and I would love to tell you that my house doesn't always look like this, but if I'm being honest, I really love to create decluttering content, home organization. I like to do room makeovers and simple beginner-friendly home improvements and DIYs. That's the type of content that I share here on my channel. So we do this pretty frequently, I think once a month throughout 2025 so far, and it really allows me to stay on top of all of that routine cleaning and decluttering. So if that sounds like your vibe, I'd love to have you subscribe and join my YouTube family. But right now I'm working on gathering up everything for my girls' last day of school presents. So I found these little pop-up crates that I thought would be perfect because they could be repurposed as organizational tools or as summer fun boxes, like filling them with things from around the house every day to spark creativity and interest for my kids. I do have two daughters, Sawyer, my youngest, and Kinsley, my oldest, and I love to give them last day of school presents. I love to give them just presents in general. But this year I'm filling it with a new doll for the summer, a craft, and then also some things that they were needing. So both of my girls went through crazy growth spurts this year. So they needed some new summer clothes. So I have a couple of outfits, a couple of pair of pajamas, a little snack tray that'll go on top of their water cups. And I just thought that this was a perfect way to make everyday boring routine things like summer clothes and pajamas feel extra special. I also got them these little purses, and I'm filling them with things like body wash, lotion, and sunscreen that are also going to be needed for the summer season. And again, this is just a perfect way to dress up a combination of things that we needed to get anyway and special little treats to acknowledge all of their hard work throughout the school season. And they do both work very, very hard. So my oldest daughter, Kinsley, she's finishing up her 6th grade year, which in our area is the first year of middle school. And let me just brag about her for a minute. She is so hardworking and so academically motivated. We actually just got her reading comprehension scores for her end of year diagnostic, and she has maxed out their programming. They cannot set any more goals, or she cannot earn any more points throughout the entirety of the rest of her middle school experience because she has tested out of it. She is currently above a 12th grade reading comprehension level. So she's actually at a college level and she's only in 6th grade. It's amazing. She is such a fun recreational reader, and she really pushes herself and challenges herself in that subject, and I love to see it, love to encourage it, love to celebrate it. And then my youngest daughter, Sawyer, she's going to be finishing up her 1st grade year, and throughout this school year she has excelled in both reading and math. She has grown an entire grade level and a half in both reading and math, which is just incredible. It has far exceeded our expectations. So anyway, just wanted to brag about my girls real quick because I love them so much and I'm so proud of them. If you want to also celebrate them in the comments, leave them some words of encouragement or congratulations, I will make sure to read all of those to them. But anyway, everything that was kind of spread out in the living room was for their gifts, and then I'm just going to do some routine decluttering in our entryway before moving moving on to setting up our new robot vacuum from Tapo by TP-Link. So I ordered the RV30 Max Plus, which is the best 2-in-1 robot mop and vacuum under $300, but Tapo does offer other models like the RV20 Max Plus. All are budget-friendly options that have self-maintenance capabilities, including emptying their own dustbin. They are equipped with LIDAR navigation and are able to easily maneuver around corners, baseboards, around and under furniture, and avoid any obstacles in their way. They also transition seamlessly from hardwood to carpeted areas with a very strong suction power that efficiently and effectively vacuums large particles and pet hair, including on those stubborn places like the border between hardwood and an area rug. That's no problem at all for the RV30 Max Plus. It does also have routine mopping capabilities, so whenever you are ready to mop your floors, you would just remove this little section here, fill the mopping portion with hot water, attach the mop pad, and you can use the Tapo app to control any zone cleaning, room cleaning, or your whole house and the settings that you want for that. It mops with a streak-free finish and is great for everyday mopping routines. My girls named our RV30 Max Plus Coconut, which I thought was just so cute. But this little coconut is a must-have budget-friendly option to simplify your summer cleaning routine. So say goodbye to cleaning stress with the Tapo robot vacuum. Click the link in my description box and get yours today. And a huge thank you to Tapo by TP-Link for partnering with me and sponsoring today's video. All right, I think I'm going to make use out of this really large box and fill it with clothes from Sawyer's dresser and closet that need to be decluttered. She has been asking me to declutter through these for a few weeks now. There are just a lot of things in here that she's outgrowing, so they're no longer comfortable. There's a couple of sets of pajamas, actually like half of her pajamas that she's identified that she just wants to go ahead and donate. And then also her shirts. We need to do a lot of work in this drawer because she says it's impossible to put her clothes away. And then here are her skirts, shorts, and pants, and we need to go through this also. Decluttering through Sawyer's clothes, especially her dresser drawers, is honestly one of my favorite seasonal chores. I do try to keep up with this seasonally because she is my youngest daughter. She's graduating first grade this year. She's 7 years old, and so she is just growing like a weed. But I always find this to be really easy and highly motivating, almost like a domino chore where when you work through this one chore, it kind of makes you want to go on to the next one. And the reason for that is because she is so young. She does like to get dressed independently, put together her own outfits, but she hasn't necessarily honed in on a very specific personal style yet. And so that makes decluttering so easy for her. It really just comes down to size and condition of the clothes. So definitely if you are somebody who struggles to declutter in general or really struggles with motivation, I would look to a task like this where the decisions are essentially made for you. It is very streamlined, simplified, and there is a really big payoff, like a satisfying before and after. And so then you kind of don't have to think about it. You just go into autopilot. We're really just removing the things that are out of season, out of size, not in good condition anymore, keeping only her current size, good condition clothes for the current season. And that just makes all of that decision making very, very easy. There is always a really satisfying dramatic before and after, which I then turn into motivation to get me through some of the more difficult, kind of grueling decluttering tasks. So that's my little decluttering pep talk and tip for the day. But anyway, that's just what I'm doing here is I'm checking sizes for everything. I'm really checking the condition of her summer clothes since she's had those for the last 2 years now. There were a lot of shorts that the seams were kind of just coming apart, a lot of stained up and ripped t-shirts, so I'm going to rid all of those from her drawers. The only difficult part of this process, I would say, is decluttering through her hanging clothes, and that's because we really only hang outerwear and dresses, and my girl loves her dresses. She doesn't get attached to too many clothing items, but dresses is one of them. Even when she outgrows them, she'll just throw on some shorts or leggings underneath and still try to wear them. But I was not holding back here. I went ahead and just purged everything that is not her current size, and I know that she'll have a nice little treat on the last day of school that will replace some of these items, and she won't even worry about what we had to declutter and donate this time around. This worked out better than expected. I completely filled this entire box, and it is a pretty large box. There are a lot of things that are in brand new condition as well, so I think I might take that to Once Upon a Child and see if I can sell a lot of these clothes to fund her new summer clothes that I included in her last day of school gift. But let me give you a look at her dresser. Here's her pajama drawer. As you can see, tons of room and a whole free row, so she's going to be excited about that. This is her t-shirts. We have all of her long sleeve shirts now taking up only one row. These are 2 rows of short sleeve shirts with some space to fill. And then this is all of her tank tops. I'm unsure about these ones. They fit her, but I see her skip over them a lot. So when she gets home, I'm going to just ask her if she's skipping over them for a reason, if she wants to declutter or keep them. And then here we have all of her jeans, all of her leggings, all of her shorts, and then all of her rompers and skirts. And since this worked out so well for Sawyer's clothes, I think I might try to use this other box and go through Kinsley's clothes with her as soon as she gets home from school, since I do need to leave actually right now to go get her. This is Kinsley's closet and dresser, and as you can see, it is literally busting at the seams. She actually broke her bottom drawer, which we will have to address later, but for now, I'm just going to be decluttering with her, and yes, I do mean with her. She's actually sitting on her bed off camera, so I decided to go through one drawer at a time, hold up every single item that was in the drawer, and she could tell me if she wanted to go ahead and donate it, if it was a keep, or if we needed to start a maybe pile that we would then look at towards the end once we knew for certain what she was keeping and what she still had room for. And this does make it a little bit more involved, and it takes quite a bit longer than decluttering through Sawyer's clothes, so that's why I have sped it up so much for you. I literally had like 24 minutes of footage here just from going through these 2 drawers. But I would highly recommend this. Even though it takes a little bit more time, it was so fun. It's a great way to spend quality time with your kids, bond with them a bit, reminisce on things that might be a little more nostalgic, or talk about like, oh, I remember when you wore this, or get a feel for what they're currently loving and their current personal style, but also still teaching them those vital life skills like why we declutter, how to declutter, and just making it a normal, like, routine thing. I've been very intentional about that. As long as my children have been alive, this has been at least a seasonal topic of discussion in our household. The entire family, we're all used to decluttering. We've all learned kind of how to do it, why we do it, how to make those kinds of decisions, and that's so that when they get older and they become responsible for maintaining a household, or if they ever choose to start a family, they aren't intimidated by this, and it just makes it that much easier for them to run a household, and they feel more equipped for how to do it, why they do it, things like that. So maybe I should get off my soapbox. I know that not everybody prioritizes it this way, but I'm just saying that I have, and so it has allowed like basically an opportunity for this to be a bonding experience with my kids and feel like quality time instead of me forcing them to do it or trying to do it sneaky behind their back. That never happens. And even before it would be like this with Kinsley sitting on her bed, both of my girls have always been involved. We talk about it beforehand. I'll get in and do it, and then they look through the boxes afterwards, and anything they want to keep, they do keep. I never force my kids to get rid of anything that they don't want to, or donate things just for the sake of decluttering. But anyway, that is such a long-winded 3-minute way for me to say that this was a lot of fun to do with Kinsley, and in doing this, I realized that her bottom dresser drawer is completely broken, so we will need to address that and maybe do a custom closet build out sometime in the next couple of months. Decluttering is never as successful with Kinsley as it is with Sawyer, but we do have a few things in here, and her drawers are way more tidy, at least. So we've got all of her tank tops here, and then these are just like regular t-shirts, some graphic t-shirts in the back, some school t-shirts, and then this is merch. So there's like Disney merch t-shirts, band tees up here, and then all of her skirts, shorts, leggings, and jeans. But now I think we might gather a few other things to try to fill up the rest of the box. So maybe this binder that you're not using, and maybe this light that she's literally never used, and some books that she said are way below grade level. I got these for her. When did I get them, Kinsley?
Like a couple years ago.
Yeah, and she likes creepy stories and has gotten into like thrillers and things, but the writing is just a few grade levels below hers. And she said this light too can go. You just have lights all over the place, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
These are all some of her favorite books, so I don't think we'll be decluttering those. Since we were feeling motivated and had set a goal to try to fill up the rest of that box, we decided to declutter through the rest of her closet. So there were some things on the top shelf that she knew she was okay to go ahead and donate. And then she has these wire racks on the side of her closet with some organizational bins in them that she had filled previously with things that she thought would be keepsakes. But as we started pulling these things out and sorting through them, she realized that there's actually a lot in there that she just did not feel any kind of attachment to, which is totally fine. So she was able to add those into the box, and by the time she was done, it was completely overflowing. So she has a lot to put in our community yard sale coming up, and this also freed up a ton of space for her, an organizational opportunity for the things that she does need to be storing in her closet. And then while I was in here, I figured I might as well just clean up the top of her dresser for her. This becomes messy so fast just in moving through her everyday routines, getting ready. She has a bin up here for her hair products and hair care items, and then she also has to keep all of her socks and sports protective equipment and stuff up here because she doesn't have enough room in her dresser. She outgrew the dresser like at least a year and a half ago, if I'm being honest, and we've just been trying to make it work, but it doesn't anymore, and I think that's why that bottom drawer broke. So I'm gonna have to figure something else out before she starts the new school year for 7th grade. But in the meantime, I'm just going to come in here and push that little mommy reset button and take care of this mess for her until I can come up with a more permanent solution. Now onto Kinsley's desk space, which also serves as a vanity. She gets ready here every single morning, and it has been so cool seeing her like dive headfirst into self-discovery this year. And one part of that has been developing a signature look. She actually does her makeup every single day, nearly every single day. She has like a signature makeup look that she does. It's very simple. It's a clean girl aesthetic, and it is just so cute, but all of her products end up all over her desk when she's trying to hurry up and get ready on time in the mornings. And then she also creates a lot of art in this space. She got this desk, I want to say at the end of her 1st grade year, and she has loved it. She homeschooled for 2 years, so she used it every single day for that. She has always been a very creative person, so she does a lot of sketching and drawing and painting here. She is especially talented with watercolor painting. And so this just serves so many purposes, and honestly, it is not big enough for everything that she's trying to do here. So I will have to troubleshoot that as well as her closet and try to figure out something that will make it easier for her to utilize this space to its fullest potential. But I think that's a problem for another day. For now, we're just going to discard some used up products, sort through her little makeup bag, and then also in the top drawer of her nightstand, she keeps all of her overflow personal care items here, and that was desperately needing my attention as well. She has a really bad habit of just like shoving things in here to get them off the surface of her nightstand when she needs to, but then forgetting to go back and revisit it later on, which is totally age appropriate. I'm not super worried about it, but whenever I have the opportunity, like I did now, I do like to go through it with her and kind of talk through this process and show her how she could better utilize her space. And so that's what we were doing here. And it ended up being that there was actually a lot of trash in this drawer, a lot of empty packaging, used up products, or products that just didn't work out well for her. And instead of throwing them away, she just kind of shoved them into this drawer. So we were able to sort through all of that, make better use of the drawer space that she did have, consolidate quite a few items, and then I was left with a whole ton of trash that I was able to throw out so that she could better use this nightstand drawer. This is certainly a lot better. I not only filled that box, but it's overflowing, and most importantly, Kinsley's room is tidied up. So this is her like personal care nightstand drawer. So we've got that all straightened up. Her desk is also looking much better. She uses this as a desk and vanity, so she's got all of her like most used pens and markers and things, and then all of her lip balms, makeup brushes, makeup, her little mirror to get ready in the morning. And we did straighten up her drawer as well, although I don't think I showed that on camera. And then in her closet, I was able to tidy up quite a bit on top of her dresser. Showed you guys her drawers already. We took care of all of her hanging clothes and kind of situated them for this season. So she's got a lot of hoodies and sweatshirts back there, but we brought all of her dresses forward. And then over on these shelves, we cleaned up quite a bit. This is overflow art supplies, and then all of her Loungefly bags, and this is the bag she takes for like overnights, some stuffed animals down there, and some Lego sets that she either needs to build or sell. But now I'll just take this back into the living room and get back to decluttering and straightening up in there. I kind of got sidetracked in the girls' bedrooms for a few minutes. This box was overflowing to the point that I felt like I couldn't even move it. So I just decided to unpack it a little bit and repack it so that I could fit things in there a little bit better, because I'm just going to be putting this right next to the front door. The yard sale is coming up in like a week from now, so I don't feel the need to store this away. In the meantime, we're just going to set it next to the front door. That makes it easy to take out on the morning of the yard sale, and then anything that does not sell, we are taking straight to the donation center. But in the meantime, I don't want this overflowing and like falling out and making its way into the living room. So I'm just repacking it a little bit, making it easier to set there. And then I'm also going to finish up in the rest of the living room. I feel like this is a very realistic look at what it is like when I am actually cleaning up and decluttering in my everyday life. I will frequently start somewhere, tell myself that I'm going to complete this entire room start to finish, and then get distracted by something, end up doing something completely different, like decluttering the girls' clothes, and then that turns into decluttering Kinsley's entire room. But one thing that I can count on is that I will circle back and complete the original task. So that's what I'm doing right now. I had a load of laundry that was sitting on the couch waiting for me to fold it. This is Derek and I's laundry, so it's just going to go into our bedroom. And this had been here for a couple of days calling my attention, so it was time to circle back and get that done. And then also in this corner of the living room, we have a ton of packing supplies that had accumulated, and I just wanted to corral them all into this one bin and put it in front of our fireplace, which was a little more accessible. I recently decluttered in our kitchen, and I decided to go ahead and get rid of like 90% of our Starbucks Been There mug collection, and Derek's been selling that on Mercari so we can recoup some of those costs. But he likes to make sure things are packed securely, so we've got a ton of packing supplies for when those orders come through. But this just is a little bit tidier and a better way to store it. But now here we are with a completely cleaned out, reorganized, welcoming, inviting living room, 2 overflowing boxes of things that are being either donated or put in the yard sale. We have a cleaned off entryway, a great first impression when we walk through our front door, and now I am able to set Coconut up for a good vacuum and mop session and enjoy the rest of my evening. Don't forget to check out my description box where you can find the link to this Tapo by TP Link RV30 Max Plus, and hopefully you all enjoyed hanging out with me today and feel super motivated by this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and hopefully I see you all in the next one. Bye!